We've got a project here at the Miller Center called First Year, in which we ask almost everybody who comes on this program and through many other means about advice for the next president, particularly focused in their first year of their presidency. I want to ask both of you about that and start with Greg. But and I know you're a journalist, so you're not in the business of advising presidents. If you had the opportunity to say just, Mr. or Ms. New President, here are just a couple things that I think would be worthwhile for you to think about from the seat that I have held over the last 15 years. What would those be?
I would encourage them to really press your military and the institution to really do an exhaustive study of what happened, of what we learned, of what worked and what didn't work. I still think we just don't know enough about what we did. The one thing I would encourage a president is, before you look forward, really force your institutions to look back, because I don't think we've digested what happened to us.
So, the last question, same for you.
No, I think that's an important one, particularly given the amount of money and time and resources that we have put in towards building these security forces. A lot of times we don't necessarily appreciate how they're politically manipulated by the host government for a whole host of various reasons by those who are in power. And then lots of times we try to build them in our own image in some ways. And I know consciously they don't think they're doing that, but in many ways it does happen by militarizing the police forces and things like that. But it also goes to, the Army is in the midst of a real transition, scaling down quite a bit. And while resources are important to some degree, it's not about just kind of throwing more money at a problem. It's about doing it more smartly. And that goes particularly with regards to these security forces that we will, I agree with Greg, we will kind of continuously build or reform for many years. Have to do it much more smartly. And it doesn't necessarily mean you have to build a security force of 200,000 or 300,000 or larger. It means you have to really tailor it to the certain sort of environment that they're in, because mass doesn't always matter. And sometimes that mass can be used against your wider efforts and be a source of instability within a country, as we've seen, particularly right now in Iraq.
We're always in such a rush, and it's something in our DNA, I think, as well, just as Americans.
Yeah, and it's compounded by, you're only going to be doing a one-year tour, and so you want to feel like you want to accomplish something. And this is why, I think it's important to look at these sort of conferences from a longer term. And I know people don't like to hear that, particularly because we've been there for so many years, but that's the way that these sort of issues need to be addressed and then followed through on, and that is just very difficult, just given how our bureaucracy, not only military, but how our bureaucracy writ large is structured.